Pyrian's Orianna that's propelled him to rank 7 on Challenger. It's not officially identified on that account, but the account name is Pyrian with a couple of N's, so you know.
Yeah, we kind of assumed that that might be Pyrian. As the Orianna once again going to be banned away. A lot of respect given over to that one as Nocturne left available in the Swain given the priority in the ban list from SKT. Will Mighty Bear fall into the Nocturne trap once again? Or do Hanwha Live have a different idea? Because Rakan also available, a big pick. Not sure whether it's a big pick for Asper, but maybe it is. I don't know.
We're going to learn about the clever Asper lane. We don't know anything about it. We're going to learn about it. Could be fun. Brook also making his debut here.
Yeah.
Played on the Gyeonggi squad, I believe, for the Kesper Cup last year, but no real pro game. So definitely professional debut for the bot lane and also Brook in the top lane. First pick Kindred, so it seems like Mighty Bear is going to go on a hunting mission. Blank already has a win on the Nocturne. Played it at Rift Rivals. Will they just go Nocturne this game, or will they be trying to roll back what a lot of people have been liking? Originally, Kindred considered that counter pick because you can dance around the pillar, but so far in recent memory, Trundle has been dominating the matchup, and Trundle has been a dominant pick in general in the jungle.
Yeah. Blank, I mean, he's been playing it a fair bit. See whether he's going to be able to find some more success than he did earlier on in the season, as Hanwha now will have to decide what they want to do into Trundle Rakan, which is a very powerful second round of drafted picks, and it looks like we will have Nocturne entirely ignored for this phase, given the fact that Rakan will most certainly be in that support position.
I actually have to use this moment to look up the stats and see if this will be the first time this season Nocturne wasn't contested. It certainly wouldn't have been many games.
Yeah.
Ezreal is going to be taken as a safe pick. They see the Rakan, and they know it might be the Zayas. Kuzan did it! He's playing Lissandra!
Oh god, he's doing it, and he's picked it away from Pyrian, who's been playing it in solo queue. He's 100% win rate over the last week, dude.
Blind pick, baby. Blind pick Lissandra.
Oh, that
Kuzan's
is the
back.
dream. I've missed him for the whole year, Papa Smithy, but that does give SKT the lovers duo on the bottom side of the map. Bang has been damn good on the Xayah in the past. This should be an easy lock-in. They will be picked up. Normally plays the lovers duo with Wolf down there, but Effort gonna do his best. He's played it a couple of times this season so far. But man, I'm so happy to see Kuzan back.
Nocturne, #1 contested champion. Between picks and bans, 95% presence, I believe 96 as this game went live. Now it's going to be left open unless we see a mid lane Nocturne, which I guess could happen on the side of SKT. Smite mid lane Nocturne does the talisman into Obliterating Raptors pretty well. But,
also, I mean, we could see Tal play the troll on the top side of the map. I mean, he is named after it.
True.
Could, in theory, be the decision, but Braum going to be banned away here by SKT. Don't want any funny business to come out from Hanwha Life. And that's the Gragas taken away from Blank. Certainly his most played of all time so far. Don't want to see that one with him. Of course, could be Tal playing that one as well, as I sort of got a little bit too excited about the Trundle being top lane, and that's definitely not going to be the case. But Pyke taken away from Asper.
They've done more research on Asper than we have.
Or they just don't like Pyke. I don't know. Morgana? No, Morgana was banned, so that's okay.
SKT ostensibly looking for solo laners. I don't think Tuhal is going to be playing the top lane Trundle. Is it Lulu into Lissandra time? Lulu is very strong in the mid lane because you can polymorph.
But why is Pyrian playing Lulu? Show us something that Faker doesn't play, please.
Who?
Never mind.
Lulu does well into this matchup, so I don't mind it at all. The polymorph gets a lot of value. Clever Asper. What are they playing in this game? Is it going to be Ezreal Thresh? That'd be pretty hype.
That would be pretty hype. Oh, Ezreal Jace, even better.
Brook has been playing a lot of Jace in solo queue, so obviously likes to dominate lane. Blind pick Jace. See if Tal is feeling confident. Try to pick into lane on it.
Still a lot available for the top side of the map, but it won't be the Mundo as Ezreal Leona? Is that going to be the pickup here? Of course, the standard counter pick into the Rakan, so it does make a lot of sense there in the laning phase. Hanwha picking for that lane pretty aggressively as Tal. What is he going to go for? Is he going to smash the lane, or is he going to try and just deal with it? This would be a team fight composition if ever I've seen one. Pretty front to back from SKT if the Malphite is decided on. 3 seconds to go. And do they want it? Will it be the Trinity Force Malphite to come out from Tal?
See what the build will be here. Armor, of course, will be involved in it. Not a fantastic lane, even though you think, okay, yep, Malphite against an 80 damage dealer. It's all about the turret damage you're going to take and the little chip damage that comes through. That Cleaver, I'm sure, going to come very early out of the Jace. Lissandra could also flex to topside, I guess we should at least pay lip service to, but it's Kuzan, so it'd be kind of outrageous to see him not on Lissandra duty. 20 seconds rolls around as Hanwha Life B are here.
Mighty Bear and Clever were confusing me for a second. I was very excited about a potential bottom lane Kindred, but not going to be Ezreal jungling here on this particular patch, and Hanwha Life Esports are going to throw all their champions exactly where we assumed they would go. SKT with a pretty straightforward composition. Hanwha Life also playing relatively standard, but a lot more aggressive options on their side of the map.
And definitely the Kindred will be wanting to go top side if he wants to go on an invading mission, as Jace will have lane presence for the majority of the early game before Malphite hits Sunfire, Cape, and more. Could also go bot side if the Leona is feeling frisky. We do have 2 players debuting in the duo lane. They have plenty of practice together, but on this big OGN stage in front of the better part of about 500 fans here at the Sangam E Stadium, it's very different to put theory into practice when it's your first ever game.
Exactly right. They're going to try and do it here, though, and I love that Kuzan, he's gone back to his classic pick in the mid lane of the Lissandra. He will have a fair bit of control. We've all missed talking about it. Will these rookies be able to figure themselves out as they hit the big stage against SK Telecom T1? Let's find out as we hit Game 2.
환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right, Hanwha fans trying to call out. They're a little bit confused at the moment because it's assumed that their favorite player is probably on the bench.
I'm sure Kuzan has some fans.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, the rest of them are probably true. So let's talk about the theory here. So obviously some people joining in for the VOD are still going to be surprised to see that Pyrian is playing for SKT. We've talked about that one in the first game. Let's talk about the theory around Hanwha Life. They've done an entire 5-man sub. First time ever seen in LCK history of changing more than 3 members. That was Samsung Galaxy, who loved to bring in the Stitch Wraith bot lane and either Ambition or Haru into the jungle. The theory here is that Hanwha Life, like a Freak of Freaks, do a lot of internal scrims. So they do 5v5s against the A roster very frequently. Thus, they have a lot of experience playing together. It's not an isolated 5 randoms coming together trying to play. It is, in fact, a squad that does a lot of scrimming. And now they're all getting a chance together to show what they're made of.
See whether they can actually get it all done, Papa, because it's very different to play scrims at home in the comfort of the Hanwha Life Esports gaming house than it is to play on the LCK stage. So I'll have to change it all up. This tile gets jumped on here by Brook level 1. Could be a difficult matchup here for the Malphite. See whether Brook navigates it well and whether Tile's going to be able to keep himself in good standing.
The ward patterns are also the thing that you lose out on only playing internal scrims. Not sure if they scrim other squads. It's possible that Afrika B scrims Hanwha Life B. We don't know on the reality of that when they're not doing internal scrims. If you guys are wondering also why internal scrims and not just scrimming other teams, because teams are playing up to 6 matches or 3 best-of-3s a week, there's actually a lot of overlapping schedules. It's pretty hard to get scrims when you want them because teams are playing so much and trying to hide, and the schedule might mean that your usual partners are not available. So a lot of teams have gone to 10 members on their roster just to have the ability to do practice late into the night and to understand this new meta. So between the schedule and the meta change at the same time, it's been rough in careers. Mighty Bear's on a walk.
Yeah, he's going to find Blank here. He doesn't have a lot of mana available, but thankfully the red buff. Oh my god, Brook snipes him, and now Tile has to flash to get underneath the turret. The B team from Hanwha Life are looking damn good. Another auto, there it is. Mighty Bear picks up the 2nd in a row. Hanwha Life B looking like they've been lying in wait to strike.
They just dunked them, holy crap. Well,
all right, I wasn't ready.
Things that just happened in this game for 500 points. Wouldn't have got that answer correct, okay.
All right, let's have a look at it again, guys.
In rolls Mighty Bear, who of course has professional experience, but not this season. They walk in, you think, okay, just a little bit of trading. Instead, Brook nails the EQ and then flash into the hammer hit to displace Tal into a third auto, and he dies. Okay, that happened.
That was about perfectly played from the Jace of the top side of the map from Hanwha Life Esports, and he's got himself the Vampiric Scepter just so that he can go even more aggressive in this lane.
And now you're auditioning on the side of Hanwha Life to join the A squad, or maybe even the 5 players auditioning to start more games, which is very interesting to think about. Brook has a red buff, and the Malphite, whose lane phase, as we mentioned, isn't that great against the Jace, even though you think, oh, armor, that's going to be great. He is still a ranged opponent who can do turret damage when he's not autoing you. Now has a red buff to deal with, and that sounds awful.
Yeah, and a lot of the Malphites these days aren't necessarily building all that much armor early on anyway, as the Trinity Force has been the most popular. But Effort, he's going to dive forward. Clever. He's going to intelligently utilize his Arcane Shift to get him out of the way. No worries there at all. SKT will still have a fair bit of control here on the bottom side of the map, given the power of Xayah Rakan. Hanwha Life should be okay. Just farming this one forward. See what Clever decides to opt in for as item number 1, whether it's the Sheen to try and give a little bit more lane presence, or whether it's just going to be the tier as per usual.
Mighty Bear is really set up to keep invading topside, as we mentioned, with the Jace here being the hard-winning lane for the side of Hanwha Life. Invading topside is what the Kindred was able to do, and we saw the double kill already around that Jace. Going to be the Blood Razor. I guess we shouldn't be surprised that the solo queue special is going to be brought out from Mighty Bear on this Kindred. Does mean that his threat onto the neutral camps will be very, very high, and I imagine between stealing and also getting the neutrals, like the Drakes spawning, that's going to be the look here from Mighty Bear in particular. In team fights, I think Pyrion will have so much of an impact because the Polymorph is so deadly against Kindred and the Lissandra, whether it's to deny the Lamb's Respite or just all of the close-range CC that Kuzan's able to put out.
Not to mention the double knock-up synergy with the Unstoppable Force. See this kind of composition in solo queue, you're like, well, do I even ever win this? Because Malphite's pretty easy to make work in a team fight, and SKT have sorted out a pretty easy front-to-back style composition.
But it does require the back, and really the back is basically only Bang to do immense amounts of damage. We're seeing a very long wraparound here by the Rakan.
Yeah, Effort is going to be able to get his way in here as Brooks is surrounded from all sides. He's about as dead as he can possibly be. Tried to get one back onto Tal, but Effort is the one that picks up the kill. Maybe not ideal.
Nice pathing for Effort to get there, but like you say, the kill is not ideal. Xayah able to stay in lane, already 6 CS up, but Bang will have very, very high damage percentage this game if SKT are going to go on to win, because he is really the only threat. A bit of burst from Tal. Pyrion will be doing some assistance. I don't think we're going to see National's Tooth this game, but it could be considered. We have seen Yukal go for the high damage build on that mid lane Lulu. Mighty Bear says, well, I don't know what's going on top. I'm going to start that Drake soloing, and he's going to be just fine, even before the jungle item is complete.
Yeah, Bang went back and grabbed himself some boost to augment his BF sword. And the Ezreal did decide to go with the Sheen, just to keep that lane presence available for Clever and Asper. Want to be able to fight, of course, if you've got a Leona, but so far things have been absolutely fine for both of them. Effort relatively unlocked here on the map, moving up towards the mid lane, but just trying to get as much of that wardage down as he possibly can.
If there's never an enemy jungler, then Leona's pretty broken as a champion. She's always had the one-way issue when it comes to support, and Blank died in the 2v2 top side, so Leona's been able to position very aggressively. Hasn't been any jungle attention bot side.
No.
The Kindred for now, going to go back. Would obviously love to pick up that mark that is onto the enemy Grom, but not to be for now.
Well, Kuzan, he's going to go up, grab that control ward just to make sure that they can track Blank as best they can. He backed on the top side of the map, so not a lot of vision being gained on where the Trundle is. But you can see Hanwha pretty, I don't know, active when it comes to pinging around this map. You can tell that these players have been playing together for quite some time. I feel like this internal scrim culture has actually sort of unlocked a lot of cool potential with these subs that are coming in.
And the best story of internal scrim culture is, of course, the MIG Blaze and MIG Frost squads that Korean League of Legends, you know, innovated and built around. We'll talk more about that as Blank finds Mighty Bear.
Yep, Kuzan. Pyrion, sorry, is going to turn up here as well. First up as Kuzan pops over the wall. Mighty Bear throws down the ult, wants to buy some time as Kuzan will have the Frozen Tomb, but it's not enough. Pyrion's just smacking them down with these Pix-augmented auto attacks, and a double kill happens once again, this time for SKT.
Kuzan fails the Fat Flash. The polymorph is well used. Pyrion and Blank can wait it out. Well played by SKT.
Yeah, really nicely done. Even able to soak a shock blast that was accelerated towards them at the very end there as well. As Blank, he's going to steal away the blue buff. Going from bad to worse here for Hanwha for the B squad, despite that early game fun they were having.
And watch the replay here. Blank face checks, and you might think, okay, Kindred is going to rule this, but Pyrion is there first, cleanses away the ultimate. And the moment the cleanse is invested there, Mighty Bear is done. He's no way to disengage. Kuzan, need to be better with those flashes, mate. Screwed that one up. He dies.
That was a bad news story, but look, he hasn't been on this stage for quite some time. I'll give you another one, Kuzan, as he's only got a blasting wand, moving towards, obviously, that Rod of Ages. At least wave clear, very easy. For the Lissandra, plays pretty simply as well. I feel like having Lissandra versus the Malphite, it's sort of easy engage on both sides with what they want to be doing. As far as a play-by-play commentator, you feel pretty good. It's like, watch for the claw, watch for the unstoppable force, and then we're okay.
Hey, you've got a hard job this game. You have to get all the player names right when they've all changed. 6 out of 10 definitely are very surprising when it comes to SKT and Hanwha Life this game.
Does this mean we've kind of got 11 teams now in the LCK?
It does start to feel that way.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the Afrika full B squad yet.
We haven't seen the SKT full B squad yet either. We were an Antara away.
Where is Antara?
I don't know.
That milk carton that I asked for really needs to come and be revealed.
He's still applying for Kingston, I think.
Oh, his Cho'Gath, never forget.
Exactly. One of the best moments in Papa Smithy commentary history. Bang. Trying to put the pressure on here towards the bottom side of the map. Is Clever and Asper just dealing with it. They're actually ahead in farm, not too bad, but Bang is making short work of these minion waves, which means that pressure is on. For SKT, Tal, he's got some Ninja Tabi now that he's picked up into the Bilgewater Cutlass that Brook put together. And it looks like the Malphite is doing okay. You'd expect him to be behind about this much CS, especially after the shenanigans in the early stages of the game.
All about turret health, which is something we can't inspect as easily.
Looks pretty healthy. You can see it on the mini-map. Of course, that's only an inference here at this point in time. Mighty Bear going to pop down, and they do know, because of that ward, that the Lulu is around, but decides not to extend too far forward, and in fact, going to inspect their own jungle instead of the vision that has just been plopped around the river.
So the data point for what we have to think of, it basically is a sister team, right? Because if these players are never playing outside of EZA 5, they're not really just B players, they're just actually a sister team. So
yeah,
it is a very interesting thing to think about. MIG, Frost and Blaze were the original. Frost was the more well-known players, so Lokodoko originally on that squad, of course, very famously, Rapid Star. And the rest of the players there, they would actually not play against teams that were not MIG Blaze. Blaze would play, they were the B team, they were the more unheralded players, they would play against other squads, and then they would scrim against Frost and mimic what they saw from other teams to help Frost practice. So they were actually, it's a very interesting system that was happening there that was set up just to ensure that Frost were the best team. Now, Blaze actually won the first Champions and everything changed a bit from there, but that's how it was all set up. Meanwhile, Hanwha Life here, we don't know how they use their B squad, but their sister team is who they scrim against very extensively. They've got some inbuilt synergy, and I think every team will use their B squads differently, but definitely most teams are copying Afrika and going to 10 players.
Yeah, and I feel like Afrika's the team that we know a little bit more about when it comes to utilizing the B squad, but Hanwha Life understandably will have a very similar system because all of our teams here in the LCK are going to be largely scrimming one another with a few exceptions. And well, Mighty Bear and Kuzan, the only ones that we know have direct synergy with each other before the Hanwha Life era of the former Rocks Tigers. I'm very excited to see how this is going to develop. At the moment, 200 gold is the difference between SKT and Hanwha Life. SKT without Faker and Hanwha Life without anyone.
With 3 cleanses also are SKT, so even in the early game where Lissandra should be the strongest before you have 5 points in Polymorph, they have a lot of clean answers for the Lissandra skirmishing. Pyrion walks up, cleanses back up. And SKT, they're waiting on 2 items on Bang. You have to imagine Rapid Fire Cannon and Stormrazor. And then they're just happy to 5v5 and not be too worried about Hanwha Life Esports.
Oh, right now the Cloud Drake is going to be the protocol for Hanwha Life. Pyrion immediately cleanses out of Kuzan's engage with the Frozen Tomb. They do manage to take down the Cloud Drake as well, as Pyrion still has the ult, remember, as there's the Lamb's Respite to come in. Grand Entrance, Effort just ignoring the ult from Mighty Bear, and he just gets obliterated. Effort picks up the kill. That's his 2nd of the game, and SKT shooting forward.
Really good patience from Pyrion there, held on to his flash the entire time. Very early Lamb's Respite from Mighty Bear, expected to be CC'd to death. He's taken down. Everything coming together for the side of SKT. They're going to take the Drake on the top side, on their weak side. That's where the Malphite is. Watching the replay, got to say Captain Jack would have put the big thumbs up and said that's some pretty good timing from Pyrion. All he had to do was run away. He knew the cavalry were coming. He's able to clip Mighty Bear with the knock-up on the Wild Growth as well. And goodbye, Mighty Bear.
And having a Kindred that's on welfare like this, we've spoken about it. Settling Kindred was discussed on Thursday. And Mighty Bear is looking at that territory despite the fact that he had a great early game. And last time around, it was Bloodrazor into Black Cleaver yet again that let down the Kindred. So Mighty Bear, he will need to turn this one around. Currently ahead in farm against Blank, but you'd expect that anyway in this matchup.
And his life is going to be the worst in team fights from behind, because he's going to incidentally be CC'd as they reach for someone like the Ezreal and just straight up die. It's very, very hard to have too much of an impact as the Kindred this game unless you are winning in a 2v2 and a 1v1 or splitting the map as the Kindred. Because Kindred is very good at contesting camps and chasing people in the early game, not so good at 5v5 fights.
No, not so much. And I have a feeling that if he stays this slowed down, it will be just an unstoppable force and he's dead. Sort of as he goes up into the sky, as will his soul into the Death Chamber. As Pyrion continuing to farm things out here in the mid lane. Kuzan, of course, able to do exactly the same thing, so not a lot of notable damage onto these turrets. Speaking of damage to turrets, HLE is going to smash this one down in the bottom lane. She didn't get very much work done last time around. Songwon sort of had to just throw it at SKT. Boom. But we're not talking about him anymore, as the teleport are going to come in as Asper finds the first one, finds Bang there as well, but Featherstorm going to be used very, very early in this fight, and SKT have gotten themselves back into formation. Unstoppable forces there outside of vision range. But you can see Tal not actually wanting to use it. There it is, finally goes down. The double knock-up synergy comes in, but the Frozen Tomb onto Kuzan, and he flashes himself out of the way. Tal has invested his whole health bar, and good God, the damage from the Shock Blast to come in from Brook as he wants even more effort now with his turn of the knock-up, but Asper finds his engage as well. Stopwatches from both supports at the same time, and Mighty Bear is going to be able to help find the next kill. It goes over to Clever, and somehow Hanwha Life Esports find the team fight.
SKT choose to re-engage even though Bang had used his ultimate and didn't have a lot of mana. Couldn't really get any damage out of Bang, and we already said he needed to be the damage dealer. It's just a bad decision to re-engage. They could have fully disengaged. They assumed that the Wombo would be the big turner here. Tal able to get a lot of damage onto Kuzan, but he uses the self-heal. They can't burst him fast enough. They don't even have Stormrazor at this point, Atlas.
Yeah.
This is not the time to fight. Nice chase down by Brook and Clever. Do a lot of long-range damage and do punish SKT.
It was very nicely done from Hanwha, and especially Kuzan keeping himself alive. That Glitterlance that was incoming was just about to take him out, but wasn't enough. So good fight. That evens out the kills once again, and that is going to be able to get first turret for Hanwha as well. This is a team with a very decent first turret rate, but not necessarily win rate with first turret as well. We're going to have a look at those stats once again.
Atlas, I applaud your stats, but it's not the same.
Hey, that's true. Damn.
I've had so much of a struggle looking at stats this season because most of them don't mean anything because of funnel and situations like this. I still really appreciate your endeavor. See, a play-by-play caster who'll look at stats, man after my own heart, but Atlas, not the same team.
Thanks, Papa. All right, well, let's just throw it all out the window then. All my sheets and sheets of Hanwha Life Esports stats. Good for nothing. Well, Sunfire Cape's done here for Tal. We've got that Stormrazor that you were talking about, that you're asking for. From Bang, have a look at the total damage dealt. Of course, highest numbers for Brook. On that top side, as Pyrion's been poking away at Kuzan there in the mid lane. Otherwise, some pretty standard stuff coming in from Hanwha Life. A lot of regular numbers there for anyone other than the Jace, who's just been wailing on the Big Rock.
Big Rock has done better than expected. Lost his turret much later than we would have thought. Maybe 10 to 12 minutes, what I was thinking, but a couple of deaths from Mighty Bear meant that the Jace wasn't able to apply the same pressure. Usually as a Kindred, you just steal away some camps and then you just stand next to the Jace, and Malphite says, well, I can't just ult into this and die, and loses the turret. But we didn't see that play. It wasn't actually enacted by Hanwha Life, so a little bit later. Waiting for the rapid fire cannon for Bang to really hit high gear, but I feel like the moment that is in, that's when SKT can really take most fights and feel very confident about coming out ahead.
Especially when Tal is building full tank on this Malphite as well. He needs to try and survive for as long as possible, try and get on top of the members of Hanwha Life Esports that are going to make Bang's life hell. As soon as he lands that unstoppable force, that's when things start happening. Effort's been all over the map here. Nice Scar Award is actually going to be successful here. And Accelerated Shock Blast is going to be his present. Thankfully, he's going to survive. Kuzan pushing this wave further forward, as Siege is a possibility here for this team, given the fact that they have a fair bit of potential engage options underneath the turret.
Getting up around this Drake. They do have a ward behind, so they spot Tal. Turn onto him.
Yeah, this could actually be the wrong position as Solar Flare comes in as well. SKT trying to start the rest of the fight as there's the knockups for the Malphite. Should be taken down. Featherstorm, once again, relatively early usage in this fight, and the stopwatch is there from Kuzan as well, continuing to buy time as Mighty Bear on the flank. He does manage to pick up Blank's stopwatch, but True Shot Barrage rips them apart, and Hanwha Life, this team is team fighting like beasts.
Because they were able to catch Tal. He does nothing in the fight, and Bang was DPS very low early. They're not going to be able to dot their I's or cross their T's, SKT. Everyone goes in a different direction. Big win, Hanwha Life.
Huge, and they're looking at the Baron here as well. Hanwha Life, the other team maybe, but damn, they're making some decisive plays here on the map. They're looking to bring us to a game number 3, and then we have no idea who's going to be hitting the Rift at that point. Big Purple Worm will be taken down, and Hanwha at 20 minutes are basically on the dot, have got their first huge objective in this game.
Zombie Ward basically won them the Baron. The Zombie Ward that spotted Tal allowed this entire play to happen. Tal's health bar is wasted. He ults into 3 and then just fully disengages, and at the same time, Bang is turned on and can never do max damage. This is a setup here where Bang needs to be the one who is just free hitting in front of a lot of utility and a lot of tanks. They don't get any value out of him in the fight. And Hanwha Life get a Baron on the back end because of the time.
Yeah, absolutely stunning from Hanwha Life. They'll now take that Baron buff, possibly just take this Drake that they were looking at. Mountain Drake will be 2 for them as well. Using this Baron buff to finally take that outer turret in the mid lane could certainly be another one of those options as well. Tal moved back towards the top side, but does have his teleport available once again. Unstoppable Force back off cooldown. And Brook was looking for a blue buff to take, not able to get there and take it. As, utilizing a Baron this early in the game can be tricky, but still, you're not going to scoff at being able to pick up your first one at exactly 20 minutes in.
They got a lot of teleports, so you just run around with the teleports and try to get turret damage. They already had the easy turrets down. The outer ring was down much earlier. But Brook will be one that will take multiple members of SKT to start.
Well, it's Tal that's going to be the first to give it a red-hot crack. Going to be down there with the Bramble Vest. As, he's able to at least use his passive to tank that one up, but how much longer he's going to be able to do that is more the question. At the moment the armor is suiting him. But Black Cleaver, once that gets stacked up, will become a problem.
Rotate into mid. They'd love to get this last mid lane turret. Should be done in just a couple of seconds. Easy one to give up for SKT. Remember, it had to be a full recall because the Baron was so early it does relative damage to everyone. So only a minute and a half left of Baron, and the power play not looking huge.
No, not exactly. Getting one turret, certainly not a big deal for SKT fans. They're still in this one. 5,000 gold. Currently the lead for Hanwha after their first Baron. As Kuzan just going to fight off Pyrion up here towards the top side, and that's not what I was expecting to say as the matchup between Hanwha and SKT. However, here we are. In this world,
Blank, use your pillar in there.
yeah, just throw it forward.
Just pillar it. Well, you don't need to now, he does that.
Yeah. Let's see whether he can lock it down. Does so. Nice work, SKT. They get something. here on this map. Decided not to pick up any sort of fight or anything like that. Tal was a little bit too far away to do anything, now moving back down towards the bottom side. Glacial Shroud picked up. Wonder where he's actually going, that particular item.
Frozen Heart gets just obscene value against the Hanwha Life team, so he will build it at some point.
Sitting on a Bramble Vest here as well, and the Ruby Crystal's curious. It's a little bit of a bevy of different stuff.
Could just be Thorn Mail and Frozen Heart. That would build into all the items that are currently present. Random Righteous Glory is possible, but
I was questioning the Random Righteous Glory.
I mean, the Frozen Heart is obscene value, so I think you have to go that way. He doesn't have a lot of CDR in his build just yet. They're getting their own blue buff, which lets you know that Hanwha Life haven't blown this game open with the first Baron.
Yeah.
More fortuitous than calculated, for sure, was the Baron. It times out, and where the chips lie, it is about a 5,000 gold lead to Hanwha Life. Bang has the 2 items he wanted, but definitely a lot later than SKT would have liked.
And also, you've got Kuzan moving towards his needlessly large rod item of choice as Blank gets caught out of position, uses the smite, and doesn't have a stopwatch available. He just goes down. And now Hanwha Life Esports have an inner turret to look towards and a fresh minion wave that Brook just prepared.
Seemed a little bit too easy for Hanwha Life. No vision around there. Blank a bit tone deaf to where Hanwha Life was. They will lose the inner turret very cleanly. Goes down in the blink of an eye to the Jace and Ezreal. Kuzan pushing up the minion wave in top side. SKT, have they surrendered too much? Have they given up too much of a lead when Bang, for now, hasn't been able to free fire like the draft would have hoped?
Yeah. Also now, only just getting his items like you were talking about. Might be a little bit too late, but we'll see. And a potential fight does actually break out. You can see the Storm Razor now in full effect, able to get rid of the minion wave very effectively. Kuzan up towards the top side, just getting a pretty free split push. Many minions as he wants, continuing to build that gold lead, build his CS lead as well over Pyrion. Despite that double kill, the Lyssandra's just been really happy. In these team fights, Frozen Tomb, whether it's on himself or trying to get a pick, has been pretty nice.
It does spot Asper, again the confirmation, about a 1,300 gold power play on the Baron. Not huge.
But they have hit the item timings that they're looking for.
Some creative wards too, spotting out Tal. He was the one who was taken down by the zombie ward behind him. When he went for the flank, around 20 minutes, Bang walks up. While there's a Forbidden Idol, there isn't an Ardent Sensor yet, so while Bang will do definitely good damage, he's not being buffed up on the Lulu in multiple different ways.
Yeah, and also, will he ever be buffed up enough to get SKT what they want from this Xayah?
If he has enough time, I would say the answer is yes, because Hanwha Life could not be any more squishy. Only the melee support has any beef behind her. Everyone else is basically paper. So the first order into the lethal tempo is a lot of damage coming through from Bang. But we're waiting to see it actually leveraged, because so far he has been just womboed down to about 50% health before fights have started, and he's never had Tal initiate in front of him when he had his ultimate available.
Yeah, we mentioned that the fight from SKT is beautiful front to back. Of course, the standard Malphite situation.
Very old school team
Yeah,
comp. We don't see this too often these days. We see a lot more high threat comps. Maybe a Galio mid lane, but he builds AP and can burst people these days.
Yeah, I mean, Malphites do that as well in solo queue. This one, however, is going to be Vital. And it's going to be a very different scenario. That's a Kindle Gem as well, so he's continuing down the path of confusion.
The Frozen Heart will come.
It will.
That part we're sure of.
As will the Thornmail eventually. Pyrion finds himself a Glitterlance, but it's Hanwha Life, able to clear out as much vision as they like.
Don't have that much pick CC unless the Leona and the Lysandra go on the same target, and then the Cleanse CC reduction will start to interact very negatively. The threat when they're pushing up vision isn't as high as you might have imagined. Some posing comes through from Tal.
Only one turret taken from SKT. Hanwha, you mentioned earlier the fact that Leona moves forward very well, doesn't move backward very well. It just means that the fact that Hanwha have this lead, even if it isn't insurmountable at this stage, as soon as they're ahead, they have a comp that just does being ahead very well, if they can find themselves the right fights and make SKT come to them. And they've got a Baron buff to do that, they've got a Dragon to do that as well. Could be an opportunity for Hanwha to just invite SKT over, take them down, utilizing all of that CC that you were talking about, despite the cleanse.
Zeke's Convergence finished onto Effort. Is a big pickup for the side of SKT. There's the Arden Sensor as well. Now, I will say that if Bang is free hitting, SKT can definitely win. But if they get caught in transition again, like Tal was on the previous fight, it will be for naught. They really need to find a fight that's honest, and right now, that's not what Hanwha Life are interested in.
Well, they're looking for a pick under Effort, and they'll do so very, very quickly. Bang's doing a lot of damage, though. Trying to lock down Clever there. They lose half of their health bars just against Bang alone.
Need to have a frontliner who can put down vision to start these fights. Bang takes a bit of damage, doesn't have much healing in this build.
Oh, he really wants the Flash Unstoppable Force, but remember, there are a few buttons that are still available, including the Frozen Tomb, that they really do need to respect.
Baron is up. There should be a better timing for SKT if they try to clump around Baron. Effort up in 5 seconds. Do not face check this one, SKT.
Who is actually able to check that brush, though, is the real question, as the teleport does come in. Mighty Bear going to take down the Rift Scuttler, and Baron actually has got a little bit mad at Clever there.
Chundu Pillar doesn't give vision in the brush anymore, but it's going to bounce people out. Most likely, especially with all the clumping that Hanwha Life is doing. Effort rejoins. Ult is down, so he won't be able to proc Zeke's Convergence, and Hanwha Life on the Baron for now.
Bit of an MVP-esque play as Effort throws Control Ward in, and they will be able to at least get it down to a 50-50 as Blank is in here, has the Smite and the Flash available. He will flash out. No, he won't! Doesn't even get over the wall as they just stun him up, and Hanwha are able to lock down the Baron. Beautifully done. Now 9,000 gold in the lead.
Kuzan got over the wall, used his CC to shut down the enemy jungler, and Blank doesn't get into the pit. Hanwha Life, with a comp that is very difficult to actually secure the Baron, is able to get it a second time, and SKT again looking for a better time, looking for a better time. The better time may never come.
Yeah, I feel like the better time might be in the next game. Thankfully, SKT were able to take down game number 1, but Hanwha Life, they've put in their A squad now, and things are looking way better.
You wonder what Asper and Kuzan are going to be able to do because of all the cleansers. Stopping Blank getting over the wall was clutch for the side of Hanwha Life Esports B, as I guess the cleanest way for us to talk about them.
Hanwha Life B Sports?
No.
Get it correct. SKT trying to defend these turrets. At least there's a couple of BF swords now onto Bang, only needs 1,000 gold. And that coveted Infinity Edge is going to be completed. We'll have those 3 items that are great, but what isn't great is the fact that this Siege Minion is inaccessible. From SKT, not enough range on Blank if Hanwha Life are going to position themselves further forward. Everyone at risk from these shock blasts flying in. The splashbacks from the Qs coming out from Kuzan as well do need to be respected now.
10,000 gold lead, so the team comp being better for 5v5s is relevant to a point. Has that point already been exceeded? Hanwha Life have a big gold lead, and so far, for a B squad, they haven't made any decision mistakes, and with Clever, Asper, and Brook all debuting at the same time, we haven't seen too many rookie tendencies either.
No. And maybe in the early stages of the game, you know, with the double kill that Pyrian was able to pick up, that could have been those sort of tendencies sneaking through, but nothing like what we expect from a lot of our rookies that do tend to have some pretty interesting moments. Even remembering back to Yukel, you know, flashing into Dragon Pits, things like that. And we know the player that he is now certainly isn't that one, but, you know, rushes of blood to the head happen when you're on a big stage like this.
Hanwha Life, 4-1, Jason the top side. He's able to draw the Malphite, and that means that Clever and the rest of Hanwha Life can walk up aggressively. Splashes up on everyone except Leona. As, oh, Mighty Bear was caught.
Yeah, takes a lot of damage there as well. Bang wants to pick it up, but has to use the Featherstorm as he gets taken down so incredibly low. I don't think there would have been anything that would have taken him there, but he just got really scared.
They're really lucky the minion wave's so far away, otherwise they might have just lost mid lane turret for Bang pushing up so aggressively. Doesn't have Infinity Edge gold, still doesn't have any sustain in the build.
Oh, he's only 150 away from it as well, so it is going to be Mountain Drake taking the 3rd one for Hanwha Life, so the next Baron's going to be so easy. Next, the Elder Drake also just going to melt to the hands of Hanwha Life Esports. You mentioned the fact that attack speed pretty good on the side of Hanwha Life Esports, meaning that the Frozen Heart's very strong, but it also means that Hanwha Life Esports are incredibly good at taking down these neutrals.
And we called Hanwha Life against Bang potentially going down like paper. These turrets are certainly imitation turrets in this game, as they will be taking 30% bonus damage from a champion like Jace, who's already set up to kill them real fast.
Yeah, I have a feeling you just need to press W, and a turret's just going to melt, assuming you've got a minion wave there. See Brook pretty happy this game. Dominic's from guard, he's almost built towards his Guardian Angel as well. Built for the lane, but he's still doing a hell of a lot of poke damage as well.
Well, Life pushing out. See if SKT can find an engage. They've been denied all game.
Well, Effort is going to have to respect the claw. Reminds me of Toy Story.
There is no Featherstorm onto Bang. That cooldown still has not actually come back up, so that's something small to remember from the side of SKT.
Hanwha Life are going to know that one as well, but utilizing Brook to get that split push happening means that they are less of an onus to try and actually start any fights here, as Bang moving out from the side does almost have that ultimate available. It's been a long night.
How almost, though, Atlas?
Very almost, Bubba Smithy, as we're very almost into a fight. As Asper, he's just going to explode. SKT pick that one up as Malphite is going to make his way towards the top side to make sure that the inhibitor doesn't fall down. Base broken, but SKT find a pick.
It's just a kill, and the Baron buff again, even smaller this time. 500 gold Baron buff power play is all that Hanwha Life can muster. Jace takes down the turret, but not the inhibitor. Have they lost too much? Is still an evolving question for SKT. We get the first confirmation, and that was the Leona going down. Imagine the Kindred against Bang in this game.
And this is the moment that we have to talk about. This is the difference between a rookie team and a professional team, is closing out games. We've spoken about this time and time and time again. But still, Hanwha, they've broken the base, yes, on the top side, haven't taken an inhibitor. And if SKT are given more and more time for Bang to just get items, let the Gathering Storm proc over and over again, it could be a bad time for Hanwha. But this is clutching at straws.
I actually think Hanwha Life have been pretty good trying to close out. They had walls in their flanks. Here we go.
Yeah, can they get any more done here as Clever's just going to explode Bang? So much damage, and now the pieces are crumbling. He looks calm. He looks like he wants to kill Brook as well, as look at this damage. Finally, Kuzan turns up, but if he's not there, what do they have to stop this Bang hype train from launching themselves in?
Nothing, Atlas. That's why we knew there would be a point where Bang could do the hard work. 11,000 gold behind, it does not matter. They're able to do it. They're looking for more. SKT, they're playing down one lane. They're playing behind one guy.
Exactly, and the bottom lane for Hanwha Life is dead for the next few seconds as well. This will be inhibitor turret taken. SKT will break open the base, take down an inhibitor, and set themselves up for Baron in 30 seconds time as well. Good lord, they've just turned it on. 35 minutes rocked around. It's almost like we're commentating WE again back in the day.
We've learned so much, Atlas. SKT look good with Galio, and if you put Lulu next to Bang, he's pretty good.
Wait,
What? What are you laughing about?
I'm laughing about...
These are new things. They've never happened before in the history of League of Legends.
Oh, let's have a look at the replay, Papa Smithy.
Well, you see, Bang does immense damage, and there's no hit points on anyone, so he kills them all.
Yeah. And you're right. And once again, we are going to be fighting. Effort is looking for another engagement. No extra items to be picked up here from Bang. Still has a stopwatch as well. See what the priority is, whether that Vamp Scepter is going to turn into a Mercurial Scimitar anytime soon, or whether he's going to aim for the Guardian Angel. Now Pyrion on towards the top side of the map. Very defensive build, but has the Lich Bane there to keep himself damage relevant.
And Bang has a Guardian Angel.
Good God, he went back and completed that.
It's probably more about the armor than even the Guardian Angel pack. Does Hanwha Life Esports B say, what about a third Baron?
Well, they are in full vision of SKT as Bang's going to turn up. Not going to be stealing anything away as there's the Solar Flare. They're looking to try and lock him down as there's a huge knock-up. Four-man, the Wild Growth as well to get that work done as Bang is playing melee as an AD carry, and he doesn't care. Brook gets taken down to the GA, to the stopwatch, and now to the Death Chamber as SKT, they just want to win the game. A 2-0 for them if they can follow this one through. Baron be damned, honestly.
They didn't need Baron. They got Bang. They're ready to go.
Yeah, Pyrian looking to try and take down the last remaining members of Hanwha Life. Remember, there is no ultimate from Mighty Bear. There is no chance for this Hanwha Life Esports B squad. And the Nexus turrets erupt. All you need is a Bang and SKT 2-0 over Hanwha Life.
Congratulations to SK Telecom T1. No faker, no problem for SKT in this series. It will not be enough to change anyone's mind about the squad, but all we know is they won. It wasn't comfortable in game number 2, but we knew there was a tipping point. We wondered, what about 10,000 gold? Is that enough for Bang not to kill everyone? No, the answer was no. We should shut up. We should just trust our first thought, and that is that Bang with enough shields and enough damage would kill everyone. Goodbye, Hanwha Life. I like the experiment. I thought Hanwha Life B did pretty good, all things considered. They put wards on their flanks. They got 3 Barons against SKT. That's some people's dreams, but not enough to pick up a game win. Bang will win game 2 MVP, because of course he will. And SK Telecom do 2-0 the Hanwha Life squad that entered this 2 matches clear of SKT.
And it was just so drama-filled as well, subbing out the whole team. Faker not playing for SKT, but as the dust settles, like you say, a 2-0, not necessarily the cleanest, but bouncing back from a disappointing Telecom war with a 2-0 victory over Hanwha, who were starting to challenge towards the top 5. If they had won this, it would have been a very clear top 6.
It feels so bad for the players debuting here, Brooke, on your screen.
Yeah.
It must feel so gutting, because they knew they were ahead. They played very well. 3 players play their first professional game and lose, which of course is crushing. I remember Umti and Teddy after losses when they were starting on Jin Air. But for the side of SKT, they go on to win. Blank smiling. He was MVP in game number 1. In game number 2, he was carried, is what we would say. As, you know.
You don't think inting level like 2 is a good idea, Papa Smithy? You're going to say that that's a bad one?
You should ask Kuzan about that. But Hanwha Life squad, I'm sure the coach, you know, you smile. This is a big roll of the dice.
I think
what
so
is there
too,
to
yeah.
say? You know, they did their best in this particular game. They certainly were not embarrassed, which is what you're looking for on your debut game. We're going to get to see this, and we all know the bus driver meme. I don't know the name of the bus, but the bus driver definitely was Bang.
Yeah, it's some pretty Rocks Tigers-esque play from very early days, this time getting behind Bang instead of that of Prey, which it was back then.
All the eggs in the Bang basket.
Oh,
He was the bus driver of the unnamed bus.
What are you going to call the bus, Papa? Can you name it?
No, I don't have any ideas. Do you?
I was thinking about the Smash bus.
The bus Bang.
The bus bag!
Yeah.
That's not bad, I like it.
Well,
We should make some videos about it.
he did a hell of a lot of damage. All of it in the last 2 fights, basically.
yeah, pretty much. And a lot of it to do with what Lulu was giving him as well, not to mention the quickness being thrown down by effort, meaning that Zeke's convergence was working, and the 4-man gigantic knockup that came in from Tal.
This was a real bus. This bus was real strong, and the Xayah just killed everyone while they stood so damn fast. Everyone dying like paper. The MVP is Bang. We don't need to see it. Stop. What are you laughing about?
Nothing, I promise. 5-0 and 2 for Bang. As, of course, he picks up the MVP.
We are going to be able to have a chat to the SKT players, and it feels like one of those seasons that you don't get to talk to them. But this time around, we finally will.
Will they answer the question everyone wants to know?
The name of the
Probably
bus?
not. Not that question.
Okay.
The more interesting question of what about Faker, which is what everyone is going to want to know about. We're going to have to show the later replays because the earlier ones were Bang being really mad that he wasn't full health and auto-attacking people. But the moment we saw him kill Asper in half a second, you knew a fight like this would show up. Watch him kill people. You have to watch it in half or maybe even 1/3 speeds because it was real fast.
Yeah, it was about a couple of auto attacks and some feathers to fly forward, and that was just a very, very dead Hanwha Life Esports B squad effort. Sacrificed himself for the good of the colony, and it certainly was a good colony, as Bang certainly cleaned up this fight, picks up everything, moves towards the Nexus, and then it's history. We're going to be able to talk to Bang and Blank about this 2-0 performance against Hanwha Life Esports and their confusion at the changing roster. So let's throw it over to Joel for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your translation for SK Telecom, a team that I haven't said for a long time now, but they are the victors of today's matchup and against Hanwha Life Esports. of A team and B team. Here are the victors who beat both. And we're gonna talk with the MVPs with Blank, and also with Bang as well. How do you feel about today's performance? I think that today was literally the last straw for us, and I think winning today's game, especially in a 2-0, does make us feel pretty good. It was a struggle for all of us. I did yawn a little bit though. Bang, you want to say something there? I'm sure it was a struggle through that road. I mean, the result, all in all, it's going to be a 2-0, so you know, it does feel good. We're going to appreciate it for now. And you always talk about SKT being in that status where just a win was needed for you guys. Haven't gotten that for a long time. I mean, for us, it's like 2 losses and 3 losses. It does feel pretty bad, but the losses have been stacking, and I think, you know, each time that we do lose, I feel like, you know, there's less pressure the more games we lose, because we haven't, you know, faced something that of a win in a long time. But it's just really not a good thing where, you know, we want to be on a winning road, but just not giving up was the biggest part about our team, and really trying to win was the biggest part about the team that I'm proud of. And of course, the Blank, you must have struggled quite a bit, but I feel like you are on a recovery road, and your plays are getting a bit better. And maybe, what do you think what got you to get your strength back? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Of course, do you feel satisfactory with your performances? I think the skill shots are kind of just a little bit disappointing, and here and there making decision mistakes. I'm pretty unhappy with it. Well, let's look at what you did well on, because we're going to show the highlights of Blank worthy of getting that Game 1 MVP. And it was a global ultimate on both sides, and I'm sure that pressure was on, and really knowing that the global can change the tide of the game. Especially with the Nocturne, trying to do well with it. Of course, a very strong champion. We know how we're able to fight against it. And there definitely is pressure, you know, especially with Nocturne. But when I know that, you know, I can just go over that one turf, it's going to be alright for the second one when we get past that first danger zone. And you do put that very dangerous ward down, and which became very valuable for you guys altogether. But did you feel like you guys had the edge at any point to the game? Whenever we were in a calm situation where we can get those advantages, I knew that, you know, we need to take those as much as we can to try to win the games. And really, Bang, you seem like the ultimate duo with Faker, and now you played with Pyrian today. How was the difference, especially with playing with a different mid laner today? I think both players are just so good. I just really, do I have to say anything about maybe Pyrian is a little bit better? I don't think there's a need for me to say that, because I think both players are talented in their own ways. I think for Game 2, I think stability has been found by Pyrian from basically how it was, especially from the early and mid game team fights, and we thought that was a bit stellar in terms of maybe, do you think he's gonna start a little bit more now? Especially with the top and the jungle, having the Jays has to fight against that. And we knew that it was going to be painful from the early game, especially having to endure on through it. But we thought that, you know, if we make it to the late game without being, you know, broken apart, we knew that we would have a good chance to come back to fight back in the game. So I think altogether, I think we were just feeling pretty confident about our composition, that if we can extend it over to the late game, we should be fine to just reverse sweep this one and try to get a win over that one. And really, that game was feeling behind for most of that game, especially for Game 1 and 2, but did come back to get the wins here. And really, the opponent's composition that they brought was a very difficult one to pull off. So I knew that, you know, us knowing that it was a difficult composition for them to pull off, we were gonna just trying to go strong to make sure to pull them down early. And let's look at some of the highlights where you talk about those comeback wins for SK Telecom. And this was when basically right around the end, after taking the Baron, do you really need the steal or anything like that? Did you feel like the steal would have came from actually Tall getting that ultimate down? We were actually trying to open up the team fight, but they were very busy going for the Baron. And really, they helped us by coming into the team fight and being lured in, and that's what allowed us to fight back and get the advantage on our favor. I think me going back to the base was a little bit of a mistake. So I want to get the Guardian Angel. Just had just the right amount of gold to get it, but at the same time knew that the 3 Mountain Drake would have been dangerous. So I think it would have been better if I didn't go back to base there. And of course, the Tall got that really just a great ultimate with that Malphite. And did you feel like you got the win right after that one? After the game, we just told him good job, and with midway through the team fight, it's just really hard to focus to say something like that when we have to just concentrate solely on winning the team fight. And it was really chaotic all around. And for junglers, it should be a lot more chaotic. And we knew that basically having the 3 Mountain Drakes, the Baron was going to go down very, very easily. You had to make a decision whether to go for the steal or not, or to just stick around for the team fight later. And instead of going for the steal, I think I was waiting to go for the team fight instead. And we were just trying to decide on that altogether. And you did, of course, with Bang putting out incredible amounts of damage in that end game, and that was the most important part. And I know that Bang has been struggling along with the entire SK Telecom, who has been struggling for many, many games now. And of course, now you have beat out a very good team with Hanwha Life Esports. How was that struggle all throughout, though? I mean, it's a really rare occasion that we see SK Telecom doing this bad, so we wanted to make sure that we kind of try to get back on form, trying to get back on winning mentality, and we were trying to get back to our old form as much as we could. Maybe was there any type of advice from the surroundings? I knew that basically if they wanted to put in a new jungler and a new top laner, I knew that they had a different strategy in mind, so we were trying to be cautious, knowing that the different strategy would be in line for Hanwha Life, so we were trying to make sure that to think differently from game 1 as to game 2 could be just a whole nother game, so we were trying to think of it that way. Of course, something that was a bit of a worry, now it's turned into happiness. Of course, winning out in a joyful victory for SK Telecom. And now you had that, basically a slump for SK Telecom in historical times for this organization, but now you're facing a little bit of your own now, and would you want to say anything about that? We do have many games left, and we do have to win the game, so for the next game, we'll try our best to win the game next after. Just a bit of applause towards SK Telecom to gain their confidence back, but Bang, you would like to say something as well? For us, the results, when it goes bad, we know that the season could end preemptively. We asked for a little bit of luck, obviously, but at the same time, we're going to try our best to make sure we don't end our season short, and hopefully get to show you guys good performances here and there as well. So definitely will not be satisfactory with their current performances of late, but results looking to go up with this win. Maybe SK Telecom can be on a different road that they have been on in the past parts of that season, but we'll see how they do as we send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel, for the translation. Still some questions on everyone's mind that have been left unanswered, I feel, after that one, but still remaining a mystery. What isn't a mystery is SKT getting a 2-0 over Hanwha.
A little bit disappointed with the interview being a bit safe. We had the knives out for Gorilla and Kingzone after Rift Rivals, but no one asks What does Pyrion provide different to Faker? It's not champion pool. We know he can play Lulu and Galio. I want to know about communication. I want to know what the difference is. Obviously, we could see that on the Rift, there was a lot of difference, especially in game number 1. Blank had a very elevated performance, echoing his great solo queue games, where he can be very aggressive, and also Blank in the past. But we don't get those answers. We are just left with more questions for SK Telecom T1, who are able to shore up the gap between them and Hanwha Life in 6th, but more importantly, the gap between them and 5th place to 2 matches.
Yes, absolutely. Everything is very, very close towards the bottom side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the win count moving all the way up the ladder, then a couple of 7s, couple of 8s, and the 9 at the top there for Griffin. We're going to have a look at matches that are coming up. Of course, tomorrow, going to be MVP versus Kingzone. Kingzone struggling a little bit recently, so that'll be an interesting one. But following that, Afrika versus Gen G is huge. Then the next day, on Tuesday, Gen G versus KT and Griffin versus Kingzone. That is probably one of the best days that we've had so far.
I'm sure you got some Spo TV envy for those 2 match days.
Absolutely.
If Kingzone lose to MVP, does Griffin just put them in the grave when we see them play on Tuesday? Who knows, Atlas? But we'll be coming together, you and I, for the 4th and final Super Wednesday. This is a 2 p.m. Korean Standard Time start, nice and early for our North American viewers, with SK Telecom versus BBQ. If you're an NA SKT fan, this is a great chance to see your new squad and who's going to be in the mid lane. We don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows.
And
Hanwha
also
Life against Jin Air and more games from there.
And is BBQ going to be able to possibly follow up their victory against Afrika Freaks with another victory, because they are theoretically a team with momentum? The bottom of the table, we still don't even know. We thought we knew. We thought Jin Air and BBQ were going to continue losing. Not the case.
I'm holding my hands up because I'm a fraud. Who's the best team in the LCK? Who's the worst team? Who's going up? Who's going to playoffs? Who are the 3 teams going to Worlds? No answers. No idea.
Nope.
We just had a whole team subbed out.
We've got 11 teams now in the LCK. We don't even really know what's going on. We've,
My play-by-play caster tried to use stats.
Stats that were irrelevant because the 5 players that I had the stats for weren't even in the damn game. It's just some ridiculous stuff, guys. It's been a long night. Thank you so much for watching. So much drama today. We'll see you again tomorrow for some more LCK action.